here we are in my basement, actually, sitting at the bar. Just finished doing some editing, and yeah, the November video is running a little bit longer than we would have liked as far as the editing goes, but it's almost done and almost ready to be released. So, got a box here. It's been quite a while. As far as like orders go for equipment lately, we really haven't done much. A few orders here and there for, you know, one or two pieces, or just for leads that we needed. We haven't had a proper order come in of any type of material since the big monster carp tackle order we did a ways back. So where we are now is, you know, it's December, officially December, and I did a little order for the winter baits that I think I'm going to need, or the winter bait accessories, let's say. Last year we did really well with some of these bait combinations, and you know, our last session out, just at the end of November there, we blanked. Both Goldie and I, the first double blank we've had in months. So I wanted to make sure we got back on the bait that was working last year, just because I was so confident that that was going to get me some cold water bites. I had to pick some up. Now, this particular box we're going to go through now. It's already open because I'm using it tomorrow, and didn't clue in that I'm supposed to do an unboxing video. So this is open. I'm using it tomorrow, so that's why I'm doing this now. However, there is going to be a second part to this unboxing video. It's Saturday now. I'm expecting another package to come in from carpkit.com on Monday or maybe Tuesday morning. It's in transit now, but it's the weekend, and that's a much bigger unboxing to go through. Much like we did this time last year, it's the official birthday unboxing, where, you know, just like last year, my wife was kind enough to do an order for me from Carp Kit for my birthday, which is coming up in just over a week. So that will be here Monday or Tuesday. We'll go over that together in this video after we go through this one, and yeah, then we'll be able to put it to the test as we film the December edition of the 12 Months of Carp. So, bubble wrap. I only popped a few before this. It's been hard to do since this has been here for like 2 days already, and I haven't popped the bubble wrap. Goldie's going to have a lot of fun with the audio on this one. So, what we've got in here. This was the main thing. I don't have anything to cut this open with. Let's see if I can actually get it out. This was the biggest thing that I wanted to get in this particular order, and this is what we had last year. This is the mainline liquid match additive in hybrid. The smell is amazing. I absolutely love this, and yeah, we used this last year on our stick mixes, and I soaked some hook bakes in it, and it was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Worked really, really well. So I had to make sure we got it again. Now, to go with that, as a compliment, this is the mainline proactive stick and bag mix, also in hybrid. So because I don't want to just burn through this whole thing, we're going to mix this with my existing stick mix that I have, just bit by bit, to get that scent in there, mix the liquid in there, and bulk it out so I can make this last further. The existing mix is like the Monster Carp Robin Red, a bunch of crushed boilies, what's left of the corn pellets, the Monster Carp corn pellets, and just other bits of ground baits and crushed boilies as we got to the end of bags. That's pretty much what my stick mix is made up of now. So it's time to actually get some proper stuff in there. So, you know, you can see the theme there, hybrid. That's what worked last year. Taking it a little bit further to get through the colder season. Now, one thing I am going to do is I'm going to take some of this hybrid liquid, and I'm going to put it in a glug pot with a bunch of my Monster Carp Killer Vanilla boilies. The vanilla boilies did so well for me this season. I think if I add this to it, they're going to do well for me through the winter months as well. So again, it's not just using it as it is. We're kind of mixing it with what we already have and what we're already doing, just to kick what has been working up that extra notch to help us go through the winter months. So lastly, this is something that Demir uses a lot. Actually, I don't think I fished with Demir when he hasn't had at least one can of this or its kind of siblings, let's say. This is from Bait Tech. This particular one is the Super Seed Party Mix, the mixed particles, mainly hemp seed, and what else is in here? Oh wow, there's everything, like hemp seed, sunflower seeds, French maize, anise powder, mung beans, not sure what they are, rapeseed, tares, red dari, yeah, all kinds of stuff in here. Obviously, you know, this is really popular over in the UK. They use a lot of like party mix and hemp seed mix in tins and stuff like that. And, you know, I've seen Demir use this to great effect over here. So, you know, we're out of hemp seed. And I thought, you know what, I'll get a can and give it a try because we want to get some of that particle in. The idea being, with our December spot for the December video, we pre-fished it, yeah, just at the end of November there, about a week ago. And like I said, we both blanked. The fish were there. They were moving around just out of range of where we were casting in both directions, so they weren't on the spots we traditionally fish. So in analyzing the area and comparing it to footage from this past spring and winter, what we've noticed is the high water levels we had in the spring definitely eroded away a lot of the bank. So there's a lot more sediment that went into the water, and as the water's receded, that sediment stayed there. So areas that were, you know, hard gravelly spots now have a little bit of silt on them, and areas that were silty that we could put a bait on with some pack bait and it wouldn't sink too far in, we found our baits were just sinking right into the silt. It was much thicker, and yeah, we had a few knocks and bumps, a few liners, but no takes. So we're thinking that there's a lot more silt to deal with and that the fish haven't been feeding in there the same way based on the changes. So now we have to find new spots. The spots that we normally fish there don't work. Best way to do that is to, plain and simply, in my opinion, in that particular location, to make new spots. We want to get them feeding in the areas that they used to. So I'm thinking getting some of this stuff, you know, this ground bait will get down into the silt. These smaller particles will get down in the silt, and they'll really dig and dig and dig and create new spots for us. Now, we baited pretty heavy after we left the last session, and we had a really warm week. Now, it's not going to be necessarily overly warm tomorrow, maybe only 5 or 6 degrees, but you know, it was like 15, 16 degrees on Friday, yesterday. So there's no reason why those fish wouldn't have been pushing into those spots that we put that bait in heavy, and they should be feeding. This is, I think, is going to help us get that December bite that we need. And who knows, if we have the chance of actually conquering December in the first session right off the bat tomorrow, you know, it's a big weight off of our shoulders and we'll complete our challenge. But on top of that, hopefully we can get some of the guys that were, you know, there back in December, January, February of last year, or the beginning of this year, to help kick off this whole challenge. Hopefully they'll be there and we can actually have some fish on some spots, and everybody can catch. So that'd be a lot of fun. So for right now, this is where we're leaving: the hybrid stick and bag mix, the Bait Tech party mix, and the match liquid or match additive liquid hybrid that are going to get mixed up tonight, well, in about 10 minutes, so we can get ready to go fishing tomorrow. And what you're going to see next is the next box that should arrive in 2 days, so Monday. And yeah, the birthday box. It'd be good to see what's in there, because even though I did the order, I completely forget what I actually ordered. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a surprise for me too. So we'll see you then. Here we are again. It's been a couple of days, and the package that I expected, right here. So let's get right to it. And just so you know, the bait, the hybrid stick mix and liquid that we opened in the last part to this video, I did use on Sunday, and I lost 2 fish. But I was the only one to get bites all day, so I was right. That was the stuff that was going to work. So let's just start digging right into this. Very interesting packaging. So if you remember what I mentioned last time, well, I guess if I remember, because you would have just seen it, this is the annual birthday box that the missus gets me from Carp Kit. So this is where I utilize the wish list feature on the website and just create a wish list of what I'm after, and then I share that wish list with my wife, my mother, my grandmother, and it's all about giving them something easy to find stuff that you need when it comes to Christmas and birthdays and stuff. And even though you tell them, hey, you don't need to get me anything, worry about everybody else, they still do it. So I give them the wish list so that they have it, and and I get some cool stuff to open. Bubble wrap. Okay. So let's start by just trying to get this whole thing out here. Okay, so you can see by the start of it, there's a bucket here. And I'm thinking that everything else is in the bucket. Just take the box and get rid of that. Okay, so this is the Tracker olive bucket. We'll go through the details in just a second. Got the invoice. And again, that that personal note, which is always great. The many thanks, and also many happy returns. And the nice thing is when you add in the comments on the website, that comes up on the invoice as well. So, my wife was kind enough to have the happy birthday from the wife on here. And it looks like everything that was ordered is on here. And it's all in the bucket. So, let's get to it. I've been eyeballing this bucket for quite a while. I have a lot of the Tracker luggage, the NXG range, like the compact carry-all, the leads pouch, the PVA bag. I have like a whole set of the NXG luggage range from Tracker, and I absolutely love them. Absolutely love them. And I want to keep incorporating Tracker products into my fishing, just because I like the way they look, I like how durable they are, and I've been eyeballing this bucket for quite a while, for a couple of reasons in particular. So, just pop the lid off. So you got a regular bucket here. What's the size of the bucket? It's the 13-liter olive square bucket. This is the feature that I like the most out of it. It's this removable tray. So the lid just goes down on top of that, and then the tray sets in and becomes a lid for the main bucket. So what I'm looking forward to is for some of those short sessions next summer, and possibly through the winter. But as we were getting some of that equipment, Goldie and I, to get into more remote locations. Some of the tighter swims like Swim 2 at the secret spot, where you can only get in there with a 9-foot rod. You got to limit the amount of gear because you've got to hike through the woods and stuff. It'd be nice to have a bucket like this that I can use this as a water bucket. I can store tackle or bait in there. I can do my ground baits and my PVA sticks in the small tray on top, and have all that ready instead of carrying a separate little bucket for PVA or stick mix like I do now. So I can, just make a short session pack pretty much out of this bucket. Terminal tackle go in the top, and then some bait options and a few other things in the bottom, and I'm set to go for a whole session. So, I've been looking at a few different buckets, and there's still a few that interest me, but this is the one that I wanted to jump at the first shot. And here we go. We got the Tracker 13-liter olive bucket. There's more goodies in there. Okay. This is another thing that I've actually been eyeballing for a long time, and it's been on the site for a long time. This is the ESP Stalker Bait Pouch. And, you know, it's got a little belt here. It just clips around your waist. And, you know, as I've been incorporating boilie fishing more and more, especially as we target bigger fish, as we, you know, continue to advance our fishing, this is something that I've been really interested in getting, because I absolutely hate bending down, you know, to pick up boilies out of a bucket or out of the bag. And I want to be able to just stand there with the throwing stick, just quickly grab them, load them, and fire them off, so I can keep my accuracy, get it all done fast, and keep it a very fluid motion without having to bend. You know, I have a bad back, and I want to make sure that, you know, I'm not putting extra strain on it that I don't need, you know, until I'm hooked into a fish. Then it can have all the strain it wants. So this is something that I've been looking at for a long time. It's got a little elastic piece where you put your catapult, just throw the slingshot right in there, and this holds several kilos of boilies from what I understand. And it looks like it's even got, you know, another Velcro pocket right at the front here, so I can put you know, some other bait choices, or you know, let's say, you know, we've used this small equipment, got into a really tight spot. Well, I can have a little bit of terminal tackle, maybe like a few pop-ups, or 1 or 2 quick rigs and some leads in there, just in case I get into a tight spot and I break off and I need to retie. Rather than go all the way out to where we're set up, I can stay in that tight spot and you know, have a whole bunch of boilies in here as loose feed. And a nice feature about this, just take that clip off, it's got a nice lining on the inside. And, you know, if there's any moisture or anything like that that gets in there, that's going to take care of it. And that liner comes right out. So if you need to take that out to clean it, you know, you're not damaging the rest of the bag if, let's say, you know, you spill some glug or something like that in there, or, you know, the boilies go off in there because you're out on a long session and you've left them sitting in there. It's easy just to take that out, clean it, and you don't damage the rest of the bag. So quite excited about that. Like, that's probably going to hold, I bet you that'll hold 3 or 4 kilos. It's got to say on here. It says more than 2 kilos of bait. Well, just looking at it, I would say it could probably hold the better part of 3 kilos. You know, 15 mils or so. So I'm going to be putting this to the test next season for sure. You know, when boilier time gets right around, you know, May. Just going through a lot of the boilies. You know, I did this year, so that's going to help it. Now, these are 2 little tackle cases. Now, I recently got a Chub tackle box. I acquired that one through a stroke of luck, pretty much. You know, I was looking for a tackle box, didn't know what to get. I found a good price for one online, and I didn't have what I needed to accessorize it. You know, I've loaded some tackle in there, but I needed some other compartments for some stuff. So Simon had the NGT little tackle cases. There's no dividers in it. It's just a single tray, but you know, I can stash a couple bags of hooks in there, or I can load it up with anti-tangle sleeves or beads. Grab the last 2, I believe, that were on the site, and these should fit nicely in my little tackle box. So quite excited for those, because I've been waiting for those and I needed those. Next, now I'm not sure if you can recall from some of the other videos, because I've never really pointed it out. The bobbin that I use the most lately, certainly through this season, is a Signet bobbin. You know, it goes with the Signet pod, and it's the Signet Springer arm with just the old school head on it, the blue head. And it's kind of adjustable. I got the arm from Carp Kit back in the spring, I believe, spring or summer. And you know, it's just a rigid bar with 2 flexible ends, and you can kind of push the bar into those ends or pull them out to make it as flexible or as tight as you want. And it's been quite nice. I've really enjoyed it, and it's done me a lot of good. However, there are certain circumstances where I'm just not getting the indication I need out of that particular bobbin, and that's simply because I'm not getting enough of a drop back recognition. I've had a lot of drop back takes lately, you know, as it's gotten colder and we're getting into some of those really big fish. we're ending up having to watch the knocks on the rod rather than actually hear the alarm go. The bobbin's not dropping back far enough because it is quite rigid. So I picked up the Signet Klinga Dumpy kit in white. I'm not quite sure why I chose white, seeing as I do like my bobbins to be blue. But, you know, I've stayed away from chain bobbins for a while. But when it comes down to it, there really is no better way to get the bite indication, in my opinion, than just a nice heavy chain bobbin when it comes to drop backs. You know, if I was in a spot kind of like we were this spring where we're into some really hard hitting fish, a chain bobbin, not a good idea. That slams right up into the rod blank, and there was a couple of times this year where we thought, man, like that probably cracked the rod. Luckily it didn't. But in speaking with other anglers that you know, have had those scenarios happen, we've really steered clear of the chain bobbins as much as possible through the season. But I really wanted this. This is the whole kit, so you don't have to buy the hockey stick separate or the chain separate or the head separate. Like when I bought the Springer arm, I had to buy the arm separate, the hockey stick separate, and the head separate. And it was kind of hard to get those from a few different spots, you know, as certain online sources were sold out. So luckily Simon had the entire kit. I've got this whole setup, and if I wanted to, I could take this heavier head and put it onto that Springer arm. Like, it's all interchangeable, it all fits together. But I absolutely love the little clip on the one that I have, so I know that this is going to be the same. It's got a little rubber band to make it adjustable, to adjust the tension of how hard it's on the line. But yeah, the one I have has served me well, so I'm sure this will as well. Quite excited about that, actually. I'm thinking maybe getting a little angler file sticker made and put it right on the bobbin there or something like that. You know, something cool. Okay. Here's the rest of the bucket. You know, nice little tracker logo on there. It's compact, you know, for something that can hold a lot of bait or a lot of gear. It's quite a compact, small bucket. Okay, now this is something that I need. To be honest with you, I thought that this was probably 4 times the size that it actually is. It's a Corda product. It is the Strip-A-Tool, and this one's red. So you've all seen that I use braided hook links. It's pretty much my favorite. I don't like using uncoated braided hook links. I like having that rigidity, you know, depending on what rigs I want. And you know, if I want it supple, I'll just strip off all the coating. That's fine. But for the most part, I've had to use my teeth and my fingernails, and it's been a pain, really. You know, sometimes if it's cold, I can't quite dig in because it's extra rigid. Stop it. With some of the brands that I've been trying out, I've been trying out some of the ESP, I've been trying out some of the Corda, and you know, the Ace ones that I was using previously. You know, some of them don't strip as easily as you would hope. So the stripper tool is something that I definitely need. You know, there are other stripper tools out there, but I like the look of this one for some reason. It just looks like I'm going to get it exactly how I need. If I want to just slip it in and get a little break right above a split shot for a pop-up rig, you know, it should do the job. And then it's got these rounded pieces on the end, you know, that act almost like a puller tool as well. So I can use my regular puller tool on one end and this in a, let's say, an overhand loop knot to tighten up a rig, and it should work just fine. So yeah, not disappointed in this at all. It's just I have big hands, big fingers, and this is a tiny, tiny tool, but it should do the job. So we've got the stripper tool. That'll be going in the tackle box, and well, in about 10 minutes when I finally put all this stuff away. But for now, that's it. That's the birthday pack. So yeah, the stripper tool, the Signet indicator, the NGT casing, the ESP boilie pouch. This is, I'm probably most excited about the bucket because, you know, I can get a lot of stuff in that. You know, like I said, for short sessions, or if I want to just take bait, I can just load this with boilies, load this with ground bait, and I'm set. But this, yeah, it's a toss-up between these two items that I'm most excited about, because I'm really looking forward to using them both. And I just know that when I load this up with boilies and get the throwing stick out there, I know that I'm going to get into some big fish next year. So yeah, that's it for now. The latest order from Carp Kit. That's wrapped up. Time to put some of this stuff away and get ready for the next session, which should be about 4 days from now. I think it's Tuesday. So yeah, next Sunday we're going to get out and hopefully get a fish. And yeah, big thanks to the missus for the annual birthday Carp Kit gear extravaganza. Really appreciate it. And thank you, Simon, for such prompt service getting it sent off. And yeah, as always, if you haven't tried the site, get on it, try it. There's a lot of different features that help you pick out the products you want, and makes it real handy, especially around the holidays when you use those wish lists and share them with family and friends, so they know what to get you if they're in the giving mode. So yeah, we'll check in with you on the next video. Cool. It's a nice handle too. Haha. Yeah, I know I wrapped up with the last package that we opened yesterday. It's late, had a long day, sitting here in my jammies, and there's another package here, another package from Carp Kit, another one with the message "Happy Birthday." Now, I do know what's in here. Yeah, it's something I'm quite excited about. But yes, I know what's in here, even though I didn't order it. This is something I greatly appreciate. This is a very kind gesture from my good buddy Demir, my teammate with the tournament, the Big Canada Carp Cup we did back in the spring, who you will have seen in many of the videos. Wonderful person, and again, really appreciative that once again he hit me with a birthday surprise from Carp Kit. Last year, it was a bit of a surprise. A Carp Kit box showed up at the house, and the missus looked at me and said, "What the heck did you order from Carp Kit again?" Yeah, and that turned out to be the wonderful throwing stick that he sent us, or sent me for my birthday. So this year, to avoid me getting in trouble with the missus, he was kind enough to give me a call on the phone, and we had a discussion about this, and this is what he came up with as far as being the thing he would choose to provide me. And yeah, there's another, again, the personal note that's on here. Happy birthday, John. Best wishes, Demir. And the fact that Simon was able to help out and facilitate that, fantastic. Thank you to you both. I really appreciate it. So in here is, let's see if I can actually get this out carefully. There was the box. There was the bubble wrap. This is the Witchwood Riot Big Pit 75S. Now, if you've been following the videos and following the carp fishing specifically, you'll know that for about a year and a half now, yeah, about a year and a half, maybe just over that, I have been currently using as my primary carp fishing reel the Witchwood Riot Big Pit 65S. It has been a workhorse for me, and I absolutely love it. It's been fantastic. All of the biggest carp that I've landed this year and last year were on that reel. This year I spooled it up with braid for the sake of the tournament back in the spring, and I left braid on it, and it performed just as well, allowing me to cast my furthest casts all season. When I did the rod review in the spring, it was 136 yards, and I was able to fish effectively with that reel easily to 100 to 110 yards throughout the season as the season progressed. So it's been a killer tool for my arsenal of carp fishing equipment. So this would be the reel that goes onto my 3.5 test curve Daiwa G50. The current model that I have, the 65S, will get bumped down, at least temporarily, onto the 3-pound test curve rod that I have. until I get another G50, and either the 65 will go on that or pick up another 75. So to give you a look at this, let's just get into it. This is, again, if this is anything like the 65, which it should be, just a bit bigger, I'm going to be absolutely in love with this reel. So what comes with it, and this is with the 65 model as well, comes with a spare spool. More specifically, a distance spool. So it holds less line, but it's tapered for specifically doing those long casts as needed. So that's very important. Again, I have that with the 65S, but it's also with the 75 here as well. So what we've got here now is, let's just tighten this up here. Okay, so here's the reel. It is a beast of a reel. Believe it or not, the overall feel, the other reel's on my rod right now with the rig tied up, and it's in the rod bag, my big Witchwood rod quiver or rod bag. I don't want to take it apart to bring it over for a comparison, but overall, this doesn't seem all that much bigger, just on looking at it. Just loosen the drag there. So it should say on the side here. It's hard to see because it's all this matte black finish, but in particular, it will hold 620 yards of 12-pound line. That's a lot. The 65S, I believe, holds just shy of 500, so 400 and change. So it's quite a big difference, and that's a serious amount of line. So this would be something like if I was fishing Lake Ontario and I wanted to boat out my bait and fish at 200-300 yards, this would be the reel that I'm going to do that with. Casting wise, I'm sure it's going to be just as effective as the 65, just as comfortable. Wonderful anti-reverse. I can also backline if I need to. One of the features that I really like about the 65S is these little brushes that keep that spool clean as it's going. I found it made a difference, and in seeing that that's cleaning it as it goes, it's actually made me keep more on top of cleaning my reel. Another feature that I really like is the line clip. Now this has, I believe it has a very specific name that's unique to Witchwood. The ACS line clip. It's almost like a dual line clip system. The line clip is fantastic as it is, but there's a secondary notch just above it. And then with that one, that line clip could be used when it's just sitting on that rod rest. And you've made that long cast out there, you've got it on your spot, but we always unclip and use markers on the line. Well, this clip, you can actually take it out of the clip and put it into that one. And as long as it's positioned in the correct way, when a fish takes, it will actually turn and pull itself out of the line clip on the take. So that in that particular case, you could actually reel this in without it having been unclipped if you didn't get a take and just wanted to do a recast. It's actually a neat feature. I've not used that particular feature of the line clip myself, because I'm not really that fussy about being 100% on the same spot all the time. I fish for wild fish in wild venues, so I'm not looking for that clear spot. I'm just looking for being within 20 feet of where a fish could be moving, and I'm usually pretty lucky at getting those casts done. But overall, big reel, very comfortable, very stable. Like, it really doesn't have a wobble. There's a lot of reels out there that I've used and I've held in looking for the reels that I like, and you do that and the whole thing just shudders. Very minimal movement with that, so it's very stable. And again, with the 65, I've had complete confidence in it. It's been a workhorse and I've had no issues. I'm sure I can expect no less from this particular model as well. So again, thank you so much, Demir. This is another thing that has really made it a happy birthday so far, which happens in just a few days. And thank you so much for Simon again for the great service and helping Demir facilitate getting this reel to me with that message. So the nice thing is that this is going to go on a rod. I won't be using it this weekend. This is going to be prepped for the next time I'm out at a long range spot. I just have to decide what braid or mono I'm going to put on here. I'm probably leaning towards braid. I got to figure out which. So I don't think there's any more surprises coming. I think that's all the boxes for this round of a Carp Kit unboxing. So I'm officially saying, okay, we're done this time. And you know, hopefully as we get closer to the spring, I'm sure I'm going to order stuff more through the winter as I stock up for spring, but as we get closer to the spring, we'll get back into the swing of things with this. But from now until then, I am just going to focus on fishing, cleaning the equipment, making sure it's all ready to go, so that when big fish season rolls around, every piece of the equipment that I have is ready to rock and at 100%. And yeah, super stoked for this. The 65 has been fantastic. 75, I just by the look of it, I know that I'm going to enjoy it. So, until next time. It's the angel on the left side saying, buy more gear. It's the devil on the left side saying, buy more gear.